Hello. It is October 1st, almost 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to make a little video here. Normally don't do this kind of thing, but I'm going to kind of document what's going to happen today and over the next couple weeks, because what I'm going through, I haven't been able to find a lot of good information on to satisfy my own curiosity. So if I can document this and it helps somebody else, it's worth it. So 45 years old, on the autism spectrum, level 1, used to be called Asperger's, diagnosed at 35. I have some other, fun mental health things, but last couple weeks I had an earache, so I went to an ear doctor just to kind of see what was going on. I joked that I might have a Lego stuck in my ear, and from my kids. And she looked, and there's no earwax buildup, just a little red, no big deal. And she, while you're here, do you want to take a hearing test? Might as well, right? I spent almost 5 years working on a Porsche race team. I've been around a lot of loud environments, being a mechanic and everything else. Might as well. I told her, I just mentioned to her, I hear things other people don't. And she asked me what I meant. And I explained to her, I said, I hear electrical noises that other people just don't hear, like really high-pitched noises. And I said, they hurt my head. Sometimes I'll be sitting there talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I'm just like, ow, just really loud noises. So I go into her very quiet booth, and I take her hearing test, and I come out, and she says, you have exceptional hearing. I was at 20 to 40 decibels on everything, and I was hearing 8,000, from the bottom all the way through 8,000 hertz. And she goes, I remember I raised my hand and laughed at one of them, and I said the one I laughed at was the one that was high pitched enough to hurt my head. She goes, well, my test really doesn't go much higher, but you seem to hear things that aren't in the normal scope. And I said, well, that kind of makes sense, because I did electrical diagnostic work. I would fix things that other people couldn't fix. Literally, I could hear the electricity in the car where other people couldn't. I'll give this example. I was with some friends a couple years ago playing golf, and I just kind of was standing there like this, and they're like, what's wrong with you? I said, man, that golf cart is annoying the hell out of me. And they look at me, and they're, what are you talking about? I was like, the noise. It's annoying. And then I realized as soon as I said it, they couldn't hear it. And I explained to them what the noise was, and they listened, and they couldn't hear it. So anyway, I was done with the test, done with the doctor, getting ready to leave. She was writing her notes, and I said, man, it's a good thing it wasn't noisy in there. She goes, why is that? I was like, man, because I said when it gets noisy, it's like my brain just stops. And so she stops writing, and she kind of goes, what do you mean? I said, well, when I'm in an environment and I'm talking one-on-one with a person, usually I'm okay. A lot of times I have to ask what, because I hear great, but every once in a while I just lose the words. And I've gotten really good at watching. I have a problem, being autistic, looking people in the eye. It literally makes me sick to my stomach looking people in the eye. I have to do it and count. I count to 5, and then I look away, act like I'm thinking about something, I look back. It's rather annoying. The people that I don't know, my friends, call them friends, my coworkers, they know that I don't like to do it, so I don't have to fake it with them. And that allows me to pay attention better, because I'm not I'm actually listening to what they're saying instead of counting in my head so I can look away. But people I don't know, or some people, you got to look people in the eye. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so talking to the doctor, and I just explained, so when it gets noisy, I don't hear. I hear fine. I just don't understand. And she goes, huh, okay. And she asked me a couple more questions. She goes, can you come back? This was last Tuesday. She goes, can you come back on Thursday? There's a test I want you to do for Auditory Processing Disorder, which I had her explain, because never heard of it. And which is funny, because I do a lot of research with, autism and everything else. Never heard of auditory processing disorder. I was like, my first thing was, my hearing's fine. She goes, it's not your hearing, it's your understanding. It's kind of like dyslexia for your ears. Fair. So I came back Went in there, did the test, same kind of test, except for auditory processing they'd play two different words in each ear, and you'd have to tell which ear, or like what was the word said in the left ear, what was the word said in the right ear. Or they'd play background noise and then say something and you'd have to repeat the sentence. Which to me, it wasn't really background noise, because one of the things I try to explain to people when I hear is there's no depth for my hearing. Everything's right here. Like all the sounds in a room, I can't really, there's not like a spatial difference for me. Everything's right here, which makes it harder to concentrate and everything else. And I mean, I really, some of the stuff can be caused by, I don't believe I had this issue as a child, because doing my research this last week, auditory processing can lead to issues with reading and spelling and everything else. And I won like the first grade spelling bee. In the fourth grade, I remember getting beat up in the fourth or fifth grade because we did like an assessment test, and well, Mr. Nathan here, he's reading on a high school level. Yeah, that didn't go over well with the other kids. So like, I don't believe I had any of these issues when I was younger, but I have had 3 concussions that I know of that were documented, possibly a 4th one. So I mean, I've had some head injuries. So, but I took this test, and I did really bad. And it was the point where I like could hear the words, and then they would start to come in, and then I just went blank. And it was embarrassing, because literally I was listening to what someone was saying, and I couldn't tell the lady what they said. And I started to use context clues, but then like there was no, I couldn't use context clues. I couldn't guess because I had nothing to go off of. And she got my results a couple days later and said, "Hey, you finished in the bottom 5th percentile for people where people would have finished who don't have a hearing problem or a problem." She goes, "You have an auditory processing disorder." Okay, so what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? And it pretty much means what I've been dealing with, and just I'd learned to accept, because I didn't know there was anything I could do for it, and I didn't really. I just thought it is what it was, So that's where I am. I'm going in a little bit to. I'm actually leaving right now to go get fit for a set of hearing aids that are going to be low gain. And that's what I think. I think that's what's happening, is going to get fit for a set of hearing aids that are low gain hearing aids that help with auditory processing disorder. And the lady who did my test, the doctor who did my test, who is awesome, she's not in my network. So I had to call my insurance, spent like 2 hours, and then get to their autophone, I forget who it is, who does through our insurance. And then they had to call people. And it was funny, the first place they called, the doctor's like, I can put hearing aids on. She goes, "I don't know how to diagnose ADP or APD, audio processing disorder." She goes, "I can give you hearing aids because I don't know how to set them up." So we had to keep calling, and we finally found a place that does it, that understands it. So that's where I'm going. And if I do another video, if anyone ever sees this, it's because what I'm going to do is going to have I'll do a video whether it's a positive or negative effect, because I am doing this because I couldn't really find the answers I was looking for on YouTube and everything else. So I guess that's the end of this video. It was longer than I expected, and I'm going to go get fit for the hearing aids and see what happens.